So apparently Nick Fuentes has also been arrested now because there's a video of a girl who went to his house because the location of his house got revealed when he was doxxed. And so I don't know what this girl was going to do, if she was going to go confront him or whatever, but there's just a video of her ringing his doorbell, and then he immediately opens the door and pepper sprays her, and then I think takes her phone from her. And then, yeah, so apparently he's been arrested. I doubt anything is going to happen because of that. Whatever. He'll probably just be released, but he's apparently been charged with assault for assaulting this young woman. So that's good. It's good to see that even in a situation like that where he could make the argument that she's going there to harass him or whatever, even though she hadn't. That might have been her intention, but she didn't get to do that. He just opened the door and fucking pepper sprayed her immediately. But, it's good to see that he is being held accountable for that and that the law is not on his side about that one. Although we'll see. I have trouble imagining that that's really going to go anywhere.
You'd love to see it. And him getting arrested, no matter what ends up coming of it, it's just nice to know that he had to sit in a jail cell at least for a night. I mean, I'm sure he got bailed out the next morning or whatever, but that's just a beautiful thing.
I just like to hear that his life is spiraling a little bit. I like to imagine him like paranoidly sitting in his house, waiting for somebody to come confront him. And then he doesn't even have a gun. He's not even like big and scary about it. He just has his little pepper spray, and then he gets fucking arrested for that. Like, hell yeah, dude, fuck that guy. I hope that his life continues to spiral downward.
That is a fantastic image. And yeah, I mean, he's clearly becoming unhinged, right? You don't just open the door spraying like that, especially I'm assuming non-threatening looking woman, unless you were on the fucking edge. He's probably paranoid as hell and losing his mind, and that's exactly what he deserves, if not much, much worse things to happen to him. So it is very satisfying.
Also, we got to talk about this fucking CEO getting murked in Manhattan. Speaking of cancel culture, if that's what we're talking about, if that's cancel culture, I'm all for it. You see the kind of mainstream media now reckoning with the fact that the overwhelming response across the board to this guy getting killed is positive, and people making fun of him and basically saying that he deserved it. And it's interesting, man, because there's a hint of class consciousness there. You know what I mean? Like, for Republicans and people that normally, you know what I mean, support the interests of big business, for them to react so powerfully against this guy, so callously about this guy being killed, it shows that we're all kind of on the same page about who's screwing us. And so I won't say it's a positive sign for the future, but I mean, we'll see. If a guy like that can be fucking assassinated in broad daylight, and, a huge portion of Americans, if not a majority of Americans, support it, then that could be a good sign in terms of what types of class action are possible in the future. And I'm not talking about murdering people, but just in general. I mean, I'm not talking about murdering people either. And it's like, for people to recognize that a guy like that being killed is a good thing, regardless of political affiliation, is very interesting. It's a level of class consciousness that usually seems absent from Americans.
Oh, yeah. Fucking direct action. You love to see it, right? No, I mean, in general, I am very against violence, except when standing up to a crushing, oppressor. That's the time to use it. And people, some people don't like to think of big business CEO people as crushing oppressors, but they 100% are. They're the worst, especially a for-profit health insurance provider. It's just one of the worst things you could possibly fucking do to society. And every picture I see of that dude, he's got that same smug fucking smile on his face. Speaking of smiles, that picture I've seen of not him getting shot, but it's the dude a little beforehand, I guess, and you can kind of see his face creeping up from the hood, and he's got this really big smile on his face. How perfect is that? That's led to one of my favorite memes I've seen from this. It's that classic, that's where the trouble began, that smile, that damned smile. I love how people are romanticizing the shooter. I've seen people selling t-shirts of the shooter and it's saying deny, defend, oppose, which is, I believe, what he had written on the bullet casings, which is a play on the delay, deny, defend saying in the healthcare industry, which is, you delay people's claim, then you deny it, and then after they die, you defend your decision if you have to. Like, shitty people, these healthcare people. So, if this is the start of the revolution, I'm here for it. I mean, people get shot every single day. It might as well be some of these evil fucking billionaires that are profiting on the suffering and unnecessary death of millions. It's just, it's fun to joke around about because he was a shitbag and he got killed. And it's the other thing I love too is a lot of times these days when you see someone in public getting shot like that, a famous person getting shot, the person who did the shooting is arrested or murdered like right away, like the guy that shot at Trump. Or both guys that shot at Trump. One, or I guess the second one didn't actually shoot at him. He was just there posted up. But whatever the case, this dude, from what I've seen so far, seems to be getting away with it. So, I mean, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, I got myself sidetracked there a little bit. What I was trying to say was it's definitely fun to meme and joke around about these shitbags dying. But it just goes to show you, like, it really needs to be called to attention more how much blood is on these people's hands, how many millions of unnecessary deaths are on these people's hands. And I have no problem at all laughing about his death, even though in general I don't support murder. And I love to see how people are reacting, how much this is getting memed, and people are saying good. It's basically a joke to them, and the mainstream media is picking up on that and aware of it. And I think that's gonna spread some good in the society, a little bit, but some. Yeah, I heard that too. One thing I heard that was weird, and I'm showing a graph. I didn't actually look it up, so maybe it was doctored or something, but it was showing that the health insurance company the stock went up after the murder, which seems insane to me. Usually any kind of CEO disruption, unless it's someone who's been really hurting the company, causes the stock to plummet, at least for a little while, until things settle down. But I heard that, and I heard that there was specifically in Pennsylvania, some law that was going on the books. It was going to be real shitty to people. Good for the health insurance companies. I can't remember exactly what it was, but now they're saying they're not going to do that and stuff. So, like, people are taking notice, and it's a beautiful thing that you can see someone step up and actually make a change for good. It's a shame that it's had to come to violence like that, but like I said before, that guy has so much blood on his hands. I don't feel bad about it. It's like, all that insane stuff that happened to Saddam Hussein after he got captured and stuff, and then living in a hole in those pictures. Any other time you see a picture of someone living in a hole that disheveled and being fucking dragged around and stuff, you'd feel bad for him. But there's certain people that are just evil, and it doesn't really hurt when you see bad things happen to them. I do feel like most of them, the only thing that will change with them, though, is they're going to have more security now, probably go out in public less. I don't see them changing their opinions on things or their policies very much. And
from what I've heard, the next day, claims adjusters were just accepting everything and not denying anything. So they definitely got the message. I mean, there's few clearer examples of somebody sending a crystal clear message, at least when it comes to American society. That seems to be exactly what the guy was intending to do, and he succeeded. So we'll see. I mean, these are the most powerful people in the world, and I doubt what they're going to do is they're going to try to defend themselves and create, as much distance between themselves and danger as possible. They're upping their security, and they're removing CEO pages from a lot of these different healthcare company websites and stuff like that. So I mean, they got the message, and they are more than capable of preventing the same kind of thing from happening again. But I mean, like I said, man, the fact that there's such overwhelming support for that shows that it's not out of the question that there could be some real energy behind an uprising in America. But we'll see. I don't know what something like that looks like under Trump, and I definitely, won't hold my breath in terms of more cool things happening. But it's a hell of a cool thing that happened.
You think it's more likely that that this CEO guy hired somebody to kill himself for an insurance claim or some kind of like inside job like that? Or do you think it's more likely that it was some guy? Honestly, with how cleanly this guy is getting away with it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of inside job, as much as I would like to believe that this is some kind of like Robin Hood assassin. It feels probably more likely that it was somebody that, you know, that's a cover, basically, even with all of this, you know, what do you call it? All of this fanfare with the bullets, and then now the backpack full of Monopoly money, which is hilarious, by the way. And now they've released more pictures of the guy, supposedly, and he's wearing a different jacket. So it seems like they're just finding pictures of white guys with masks on in New York City and saying that that's the killer. Like, they have nothing on this guy. It really looks like he got away with it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of like high-level hit. And the fact that this guy was under investigation by the DOJ has always been a big deal to me as well. But I don't know. Also, from that footage, he looks like he was pretty caught off guard by it. So I still think probably it was just a random guy that killed him, but I would not be surprised if this was some kind of ruse, you know, orchestrated by the guy himself.
Yeah, that's the question, right? I don't know. I really want to believe it's a Robin Hood type situation. It just now seems more like, I don't know. It is tough to tell. He did seem caught off guard, and it is hard to believe one of those guys would be willing to off themselves. But it also seems too good to be true that the revolution's starting. It definitely backfired if it was just the life insurance thing and it was an inside job done intentionally or whatever, because of how well the public is responding to it. I mean, I guess it's not technically a backfire, just an unintentional side effect. But I don't know. The way he's getting away with it and everything, I definitely want it to be true. And everything, that's what makes me think maybe it's not. I'm just so used to being disappointed by reality. At this point, I don't even know what to believe. I know what I want to believe.
Yeah, that's a good point. It has backfired, and not only has it backfired, but it's kind of intentional that it would backfire, right? Because not only they could have made it like a quiet little thing, choo choo, you know, like this could have happened in like the penthouse of a hotel, and the story still would have been pretty salacious, but it also would have been like, well, those crazy rich kids, you know. But it's like the whole bullet thing and making this, trying to make it seem like this guy was some kind of radical, you know, that's almost aimed at creating a news story that carries that type of weight. So maybe it wasn't intended that people would react the way that they did, but the situation was certainly designed that way either way. So I agree with you. I'm used to being disappointed by reality at this point, but I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that the guy's intentions were genuine, just because that doesn't really fit into the narrative of, like, if this guy just wanted somebody to kill him, like you said, first of all, that's just not the kind of thing these dudes tend to do. It's not like this was some like old motherfucker or something, you know. He probably would have done anything that he could to continue living, and it's not like the fucking Department of Justice investigating the guy's like the end of his life, you know. 90% of the time they get out of shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, it doesn't make sense that they would make it some kind of revolution coded thing, just because that's unnecessary. Like, you know, it sort of works as a cover, but it's a situation that's designed to elicit support for the shooter. And I just don't know why someone who was trying to do insurance fraud would create that situation against themselves. I'm not really sure. Do you think that this guy was walking around New York with like all these different jackets and backpacks? He's wearing different masks in these different pictures. So do you think it is the same guy and he was just changing clothes, or do you think that they just have three completely random poor fucks who did not kill the CEO, but are going to be getting a lot of pussy
I don't
for
think
it.
he's going around changing outfits 3 times and doing that stuff. I think they've got 3 different people, or at least 2 different people. Maybe one of them is the actual killer. I think they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't think he was hired. I don't think it was an inside job, honestly. The more I think about it, the most telling thing to me is the deny, defend, oppose being written on the casings. Feels very personal, and I could see it, that being faked if they were trying to frame up a revolutionary type. But if it was just this inside assassination for an life insurance claim and getting out of going to jail because you'd kill yourself anyway or whatever, I don't think they'd go to that extent. I don't think they would attack the infrastructure that much. I really believe this is someone who was standing up for something. I believe they had a family member who had some kind of terminal illness and was denied some kind of end-of-life care or help that may have saved them, may not have, but may have made their life more comfortable at the end or whatever, or extended their life by even a few months. He was very upset and knows how bullshit the system is, and they stood up. I think that at this point, it's almost backpedaling from the system to try and say, oh, no. He was just killing himself and doing it in such a way where his family could get a big life insurance claim, so he didn't have to go to jail. People aren't this mad. No one's standing up and starting a revolution. Don't worry. Everything's fine. I am trained to be disappointed, and by society especially, and for this kind of stuff not to be a legitimate someone standing up for their rights and actually taking some direct action that, while abhorrent, murder is always abhorrent, is totally understandable in this case. While it is that, I'm trained to believe that doesn't really happen. Davy doesn't stand up to Goliath, and certainly doesn't win if they do. So this must be something else. But no, I think it's legit. I think this really happened, and anything that says otherwise now is probably them trying to do damage control.